Let's get a little closer. Hold on, guys. Hold on. I'm coming. In the building. We are all in the building. We got some things to talk about tonight that might piss some people off, but I don't care. Guys, if you haven't gotten a ticket, if you haven't gotten tickets to win Bipolar, please do so. Please do so. You will regret not doing it. Check the audio, check the visual, guys. Let me know if it's good before we start getting into this thing. What's up, man? What's up? Yes, sir. Yes. I'm not picking you up. Get down. Get down. Get down. Get down. All right, he want to be a part of the show today. I don't know why. We don't kiss. He knows that. He'll mess up a shirt in a second. All right, roll call. Get down, man. Get down. Let's see what we got. Let's see who was in the building. Max, Hurley Long, Rolando, Touch 556, Square Biz, Vaste, Mr. Westside, Captain Rick, what's happening? Hurley Long, what's happening? Vernon, I hope you got your ticket. I hope it came. Hope you got everything. Let's see, 275 Big Ben. Everybody got their tickets. If you order it, I think there's like 3 that I might have gotten back that have like return addresses. A lot of guys didn't put like apartment numbers and different stuff like that. So of course they got kicked back. Get down. Hey, go lay down. Oh, he mad. He don't like to hear that. Go lay down. Yeah, who let the dog out? Hey, if you're joining the chat now, let me get serious. If you're joining the chat now, guys, go ahead and hit the like button, especially all the guys that just chimed in. I'm gonna ask you guys for a favor. Everybody comment the year of your bike, model and year. That's all I need. We're gonna have a good conversation. I just need to see where I'm at here with what I got. All the guys that are lurking, how you guys doing? I'm gonna be talking about you guys today. You guys are gonna be the hot topic today. But I will be going through all of the messages, and we will talk. Let's see what we got. I'm still watching. You can shout out the Throttle Iron podcast on Tuesdays. All right, we'll check it out. LA Breakers, Jeremy in the building. Rolling with Johnny. What's happening? 23ST. Got you. 2016 Road Glide Special with a built 117 from George Bryce from Star Racing. Okay. Indian Roadmaster 116. Yeah, I'm working on it. 2021 Road Glide Special. Got you. So I had a buddy of mine point something out to me a couple of days ago. I guess it was another YouTuber's video, and basically, you know, they tried to hit on a bunch of topics, but one that stood out was, you know, the long distance riders, you know, versus the guys that don't go long distance versus the guys that pretty much will build a bike and use it to go, you know, the local guys. Now, how you build your bike and what you build it for is totally up to you. And if you feel like, you know, guys with faster bikes are unreliable. If you feel like that, just at the end of the day, hating business, I gotta address you guys. I got one question. I understand the long distance guys, they stick together. I got a lot of buddies that just do long distance. They don't like short trips. They want to go, hours and hours and hours. But you can only ride so many hours in a day. That's just my opinion. Maybe 10, 12 hours, just depending on how far you start. Now, Florida is a very, very big state. If you go from, tip to tip, man, and out the west, out the panhandle of Florida, it's over 12 hours. We all know that. My thing is, what's the difference between your miles, just because you're going from state to state to state to state, because a lot of the times there's only 3 hours to get from one state to the next. What makes your riding ability, what makes your opinion, what makes, just your bike and overall just better than the guys who make 180 horsepower, 180 plus horsepower? Why do you guys feel like it's not reliable? Do you feel like because you've seen bikes that aren't built right, not last? But when you make statements like that, you're talking about everybody. They go on to say other things. A lot of guys build these bikes and don't race them. Happens all the time. Not everybody's out here racing. Not everybody's out here, trying to be in a competitive light. A lot of guys just want to build a nice bike. Some guys can't get races after they build a competitive bike. All those different things kind of come into play. And I had to kind of like analyze that video from, you want to go in the house? He'll tell me if he wants to go in the house. He'll start talking. Speak up. You're not going to speak? You shy today? He'll tell me in a little bit. But those guys, and they feel like, I know. Come on, let's go. Give me a second, guys. Come on. Come on. In the house. You don't want to go in the house? Jesus Christ. All right, I'm back. I'm coming back. Milo started some mess today. Yeah, so you can't get races sometimes, and why is it such a big deal for those guys to have to analyze what everybody else is doing? Listen, you can have 5 bikes, set each bike up for something different. And I see by now that there's gonna be somebody who has an opinion about every bike you have or about everything you do with your own shit. You spent your money on it, so who cares? Why is it your opinion? Some guys like to do wheelies. I don't. Matter of fact, every time I get on a bike, I try to keep both wheels on the ground. But I'm not gonna go out there and say, oh, you guys who do wheelies, you guys are losers. You can't ride that to the gas station. Like, come on, guys. I got a few more things to say about it. But I don't want to lose track of you guys as I'm talking about these guys. Let's see what else we got. We have Daytona talk coming up. I'm going to finish this conversation in a second, but I want to make sure I check everybody in on this roll call. We got a good amount of people in the chat, but you guys need to go ahead and hit that like button. Do me that favor. Let's see. 23 and a half whiskey neat stock. I get it. 2025 roadglide and a Softail Deluxe Gixxer 600 and a 2014 Booster. Nice. Jeremy, how did the bike come out? I didn't get to check you out before you left. 23 ST Fast Johnny. My shit is reliable as hell. over 9K, stage 2 from All American Cycle. I haven't seen too many bikes that come out of All American that are not reliable. Yeah, that's really saying something. Captain Rick, 9,000 miles on All American Cycle 135, bad mofo. And I can agree with you on that one. I don't understand people in other people's pockets. In terms of how you ride and what you ride, having a little opinion. People who buy and don't ride, but again, their cash, their choice. Geo Rides 114, absolutely right. Listen, I know guys that only pull their bikes out maybe 3-4 times in a year, being honest, and you live in Florida. You live in the perfect climate. You can ride pretty much year round. There might be 1 or 2 months out of the year that it's raining, and you can catch a day in between every now and then and get out and ride. But if you got an opinion, you feel like you got to come to YouTube to talk about it, it's kind of like, you know, where are you actually trying to go with this? Listen, I know YouTube is about controversy. If it's not controversy, people want to see some sort of havoc happening. But this is a different game over here. This is a different era. I got 3 bikes, okay? And if you've been watching the channel, you kind of know where each bike evolved from. We'll talk about Bipolar, for instance. And I'm going to tell you, all the way through and through with Bipolar. Bipolar came to be, Chip Berg in the building. Bipolar came to me because I had to get off a street glide. That was #1 for me. I couldn't enjoy the ride. So they were like, hey, you need to get a road glide. That'll be a better bet for you. Fine. Get a road glide, way better ride. I was on that bike every weekend. And there came a time where I felt like I want some more power out of this bike. And I understand that, Harleys aren't the fastest bikes in the world, but you can get a little bit more pep out of them. And a female told me, she said, hey, there's some guys with some fast Harleys out there. And you couldn't get me to believe it. I didn't believe it when she told me. So I'm like, all right, whatever. And then I got introduced to George, and it kind of progressed from there. That's just the stage 1. That's not as in the motorcycle stage 1. That's just the beginning stage that I took, is going to George, and then you start to see the more competitive side, the levels to these bikes. And I've always tried to keep that bike at a level where I can still maintain it and ride it and enjoy it until I said, okay, I want to be really competitive. No matter how many races you get or don't get, in your mind, if that's what you want to do, you're going to do it. You know what I mean? You're not gonna hold yourself back just because you don't hang around a lot of people who race or ride long distance, whichever way you build your bike. So this bike started to progress, and by the time I said, you know what, we need to put some fire under that bike's ass, the whole performance bagger thing had already started to explode. It started to really, really pump up. And at the same time, I'm like, well, I'm really taking a toll on that bike. It's time to get something else that I could cruise. And that's when the Road King came along. All right, so Road King at the same time. Now it's starting to progress. We're starting to do a little bit more and more to the Road King. Love the bike. Love the, just more of the wind on your body with that bike, the no fairing deal. And as that progressed, what everybody started doing? Racing Road Kings. So then I'm like, well, in order to be competitive with the top guys, now you have to go Road King. Well, you got the other half. Those other guys that can't compete with a Road King, you gotta defend yourself on both sides. So I said, you know what? Before this bike starts to lose its place in my garage, I need to do something. It needs to go somewhere so somebody else can be competitive with it. Now, if you've ever paid attention, I ran this bike on the street and showed the numbers. We all know it's a heck of a bike, but it's not to the point where we can't ride it anywhere. It's still a beast of a bike. Now, I've seen, other guys build bikes on YouTube and try to go down the same path as me, and it doesn't always work out for them. You're building 4 and 5 motors. You're trying to do all these different things to compete, and it's no problem. I don't see a problem with it, but at the same time, you can't be one of the guys that talk shit about it either. It's just my opinion. So where this bike is now, it needs a new home. We're almost there. I don't know if we're gonna make it. If the people don't really start to try and get to the tickets for this bike, it might not make Daytona, but I won't stop the giveaway. Okay, so the giveaway is gonna still go, and that's a whole separate thing. But that bike has the best of the best for riding, the best for racing, the best for everything. So at this point, for somebody else to enjoy it, I had to figure out a third situation. That's where this bike comes in. I knew the Road King was going to take off and start to be my race bike, and this is pretty much going to be that bike, but just not on as much steroids. That's it. Let me go back to the chat, because you know I can keep going and going and going. All right. Now, when I did this, before I get off this, before I leave Bipolar alone for the night, I wasn't the only one doing it. Man, listen, there's OGs of All American Cycle. There's a bunch of OGs that were building at the same time, and that's where I really felt like, okay, if you're going to do it, you got to watch what the OGs are doing, and you got to still keep going that direction, because everybody wants to be competitive. Everybody wants to be competitive with everybody. All right, let's go. What else we got? Rolando knows as well. He's an OG of All American Cycle. Easy 305, what's up, my brother? He said, yo. Chip, what's happening? Real Cold Chiller. 2019, Road King Special. Bipolar would look good in Houston. I'm sure it would. Hey, everybody's got a good chance, man. I don't know how to explain it, but I think the giveaway on this bike is probably better than any giveaway that anybody else has ever put out there. Yeah, it doesn't take, 30,000 entries to win the bike. Some people just raise the entry so high that, it's just not as competitive anymore. So I always wanted to keep them low so you guys can really, really have a chance at it. I'll tell you what Jeremy Fowler said. I tell you what really impressed me with All American Cycles is how fast they get it done. I've been working on my engine build going on 3 months now. I'm guessing because you didn't come to All American Cycle. If you watched the last video and probably the last 4 videos before, there's always an Easter egg in all the videos, whether you guys pick it up or not. I'm a big advocate on dropping a gem in there and letting you guys find it and figure it out on your own. I've always put a bike that's been on a bench, getting a motor done, and by the time it comes out, getting tuned. Every one of those videos, it leads up to someone getting their bikes done. And usually I'll have them say, hey, I came on a Monday and now I'm out of here on a Wednesday, or just give the timeline, because that's very important. And I'll tell you why it's important. I know, I'm 110% sure that most shops will never get you out of the door within 2 weeks. It's never really ever happening, especially on a big build. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's parts. I don't know how they really arrange a lot of things. But 2 weeks is usually, or better, 2 months, 3 months. I've heard all those stories. And a lot of the times these guys are getting these bikes built in a dead winter. Maybe that's another reason why, all the bikes are just rushed in at the same time, so it's hard to get them out, maybe. But I always tell you guys when to go. March, if you're coming to Daytona, or when it's cold for you, come down here, get your bike done. Best way for me to kind of explain it to you, because the shop is, it's always pumping, but George is able to get your stuff together, get your stuff put aside, give you your date, give you how many days it's going to take, and he doesn't try to bombard, I guess, the guys with, a bike that they're going to have to deal with for a long amount of time. Bike goes from here, might need to go over there, goes from over there to the dyno. That's it. Bike needs to go from here to there to there. It's probably 2-3 stops, and that's the end. George is the final stop, and you pick your bike up. Sometimes it does take a little longer if parts are not available. If you're last minute and you're saying you need a BST wheel, you're not getting BST wheels in 2 weeks. It's not going to happen. I'm not saying it's impossible, but the likelihood, you know what I mean? So you know, it's just little things like that you might have a glitch on, but it's really never with the shop. All right, so hey, where's the king? Rolando said, where's the king? The king is in the shop. The king is just about ready. We're about 95% ready. That'll bring me to another topic in a second. Let's see what we got. Chips need to upgrade. I'm still deciding. Okay, that's not my conversation. Hey Mac, I'm building a 2025 roadglide now. The best thing you could ever do. I'm gonna hit on that too. Who all has interest? I'm buying mine tonight. I got mine 2 weeks ago. Everybody should have all their stuff by now. If you haven't, hit me up. I got you. Let's see. Wait on parts is the biggest problem. You can have $1 million. If you got to wait on parts, there's nothing you can do about it. There's nothing you can do about it. But I started this whole conversation off with, you know, just building bikes and how you build your bike and what you want out of your bike. And that's all your business. And I don't think there's anybody out there in the YouTube world that should be an influence on how or what you actually build it for. Yes, you're always gonna get tips on certain things from certain people on parts to put on your bike, but what you're doing with it is your business. You can have a 500 horsepower bike, and if you don't ride it from here to across the street, that's your business. That's what you built it for. We gotta understand at the end of the day, we're not 18 years old. We're not out here racing crotch rockets. These bikes start off as a talking piece. Some of us go and have them perform. That's a big difference, man. You know, the older you get, the reaction time ain't the same. You guys understand what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, it's your money. You do what you want with it. I just don't believe in, you know, some of the things that some of these guys say. And I'm gonna give you guys an example. I'm not bashing. I'm not being disrespectful. But I get guys all the time that say, oh, I want to race you, right? And sometimes we end up meeting up. We end up running into each other. We'll actually be at the same place. And what usually happens, I can't make this up, is it all becomes a whole different kind of conversation. You know, you still might have one or two guys that still really want to get it on with you, but then you'll have a lot of guys that don't. They just were talking and internet wars and all those different things, and then when they see, you know, you actually show up, they see what you actually, you know, they see you make a pass, they change their minds. They give an excuse. They pay the punk out fees. I've been through all of that. And you gotta understand, if you're a guy that's in the limelight a lot of the times, you're gonna get a lot of guys that come after you. You gotta pick and choose who you're gonna race and who you're not gonna race. So when somebody says you're building a bike and don't race it, okay, but will you race? Will you race me? I mean, if it's your, you know, if you got so much opinion, you should say, then I will race you, you know, but that doesn't happen too often. Guys, you see, you know, we make power. We ride the bikes, we make power, we enjoy them. So at the end of the day, my job is to, you know, basically help you in knowing the parts and the process behind building a bike like this or building a bike like this. Guys, I built this bike within a year. I think I have about 4,500 miles on this bike. And I'm telling you now, it's the new latest and greatest. I mean, it's taking over. You gotta keep going. You gotta go with technology. You gotta stick with what's going on now. This is soon to be, you know, your you know, just what they're set up for. Whatever I set this up for, I wouldn't buy another one and try and redo it. I mean, this is the wave of the future. Now back to what we got. Let's see what we're talking about here. Thanks for the sticker. Looking forward to seeing who wins. Keeping good content. What up, Mac? Glad you're down with Sunday Throttle Therapy. I got you. Oh, that little tip on the shirt. Jeremy, I'm happy you got it. I'm happy you got it dialed in too. Let me see. Let me go back up, guys. There was something I wanted to hit on. If you guys got comments, questions, drop them in here right now. Don't forget to hit the like button. I'm talking to all the guys that have been bashing. So if they're here, speak up. And like I said, I seen a guy, the guy said, oh, anybody's bike that makes over, or he said makes 170 horsepower, the bike is unreliable. Am I not supposed to say something to that? Because who are you talking to? Like, we don't see a lot of guys that are out there making that kind of power. We don't see a lot of guys that are making that power really street riding those bikes, I guess, where you're at or where you guys are at. But I see it every day. I can go to the shop. I say this all the time. I can go to the shop 5 days in a row. I'll see 5 200 horsepower bikes every day. Those guys take those bikes out on Thursday nights and they run them hard. It's a weekly thing here. If you guys are feeling like you got a bad builder, don't pour all that shit on us. That's your business. What to do, bro? Turning in from the West Coast. All right. Saint Braun. Burn and Turn is this Saturday. If you guys are coming to the Burn and Turn, if you're going to Daytona this weekend, this Saturday, I will be there. February the 28th. I'm going to be out there hanging out. I'll probably only be there a few hours. I'm going to hit the Speedway. I'm going to hit Harley Davidson. I think it's still Teddy Morris. Or they might have changed the name. I don't know. I think it's Teddy Morris still. I will be there. And then from there, that's where I'll be going back home. That is a 3.5-hour ride. We got some stuff to do later on that evening. So I'm not going to be there super late. But the next weekend, I will be there over the weekend, as far as I know. But if you want to do the Burn and Turn, I'm going to be shooting up the Turnpike. I will start off the Turnpike on Atlantic Boulevard. If you know, you know. If you don't, sorry. It's a Shell gas station right on the Turnpike. Excuse me. And I'm going north from there, probably around 7:30 in the morning. Get up, do what I got to do, source me some parts, some goodies for this bike, and then I will be coming home. A couple of things about this bike. I gotta figure out a way to say it. If you want smoke with this bike, you can get it. I'm not racing race bikes. If you got something that's a similar setup to me, because I know what's gonna happen. You know, if you're bringing out a big motorbike, I don't own a big motorbike at this time. This is a 135. That's what I will be on while I'm in Daytona. I know there's gonna be some call outs. I don't mind. But if you can't afford to take a loss, do not harass me about racing. Do us all that favor. Mr. Westside says he hasn't been to Florida or Cali. He can't F around and find out. Have you tried cross max lean shifter components? They are a game changer. I seen them. They really look nice. I can't vouch for them because I haven't run them on my bike. But from what I hear, they are, and I think Kraus bought out another company and kind of, meshed some stuff together. So it really came out really good. How many tickets are you short for the giveaway? It's not a shortage of tickets. And if I had to show it, it's not a shortage, but we have to get to a certain point that makes this a successful giveaway, if that makes sense. Because we're not trying to make a lot of money. We're not trying to make $1 million. But, it's giving pretty much everybody a fair chance, plus you're getting what you're paying for at the end of the day. Now, if I had to, I almost said it. If I had to guess how much is in that bike. But you guys can guess, but we're not even trying to get anywhere close to that. We're just trying to get a good number so somebody will have something nice. Are we doing tour packs for the Turn and Burn? Absolutely not. You never know who you might run into. If you bring a tour pack, you're going to regret it because you're never going to know who you're going to run into, and it might be smoke somewhere in the air. Okay, so Jeremy said, oh, those bars look much better in person and look good on the video. Strong, definitely quality, good, bro. Let's see what else we got. Robert Fagan, what up, Mac? Keep bringing us those videos from All American Cycle, please. Looking forward to see what you did with the Road King. You know how you stare off into space. I'm dreaming about my bike. I can't wait till the Road King comes home. It's gonna be something different, and I'm not saying you can't dumb it down. It's become a race bike. That is pretty much the only bike that I'm gonna be taking out to be competitive with. If guys don't feel like, that's not their class or whatever, I mean, there's really no point in talking about it. This bike is not a race bike by any means, but I've told you guys before, once you get, a bike like this, or, you're done with your bike and you feel like, you might have to defend yourself. You take that button up off, pop them buttons real quick, and you got to go to work. That's what we got. That's what we got. And I feel like for me, I always kind of got to be on my toes with this bike. It's a handful. It's not that, but yeah. I mean, it's set up for cruising. But watch my lives on Instagram. When I go live on Instagram, I'm probably getting ready to full throttle this bike. You just watch it. Just watch how those numbers start moving. When I win, I want the flag on the wall. Everybody says that. They all want the flag. Okay, don't forget we're having a dyno shootout at harleydavidsondaily on US 1. The Killer Ram Air Performance is putting on a horsepower shootout. $1,000 payout. $1,000 payout. Hey, guys, if you're going, all right, first of all, if you're going to Daytona, comment down in here. Like I said, guys, I want you guys to be able to meet up with everybody. A lot of guys from the shop are going to be there, I'm jealous of Mac because you live very close to All American Cycles, but I'm not CZ. I know I'll be there every day spending weekly money. Hey, and he dropped some coin on the live, man. I appreciate that. When everybody does decide to tip, it's greatly appreciated. It goes over here somewhere. One of these things, it goes to it every time. So, come on, Mac, how much you never see erase anyone? How come we never see you erase anyone? So TZ24, if you come out to the races, I don't know if you have, it's not that easy to get erased. I think I've had 3 in one night that everybody backed out one at a time. And it's kind of hard to press people to race you because that's not what you're trying to gain from it. You're just trying to sharpen your knife a little bit. You can't sharpen your knife. What are you gonna do? I can't, listen, he said it, I can't call them scared. But I can say they are protecting their money. Everybody thinks they're gonna get embarrassed online or get embarrassed, on YouTube or whatever. I've been beat. I've shown 1, 2, 3. I've shown 3 L's I've taken on YouTube. They're clearly out there. All you got to do is go back and watch. I can't hide it. It is what it is. That's what I came for. So the only thing you can do after that is build better, build more, do whatever, practice and get better and get back out there. But if you, internet warrior or whatever, and like I said, man, a lot of guys, they'll feel like they can really stand up and hang out there, and it ain't what you think. It ain't what you think. Bipolar, low 10-second bike. What are you gonna do with that? That 90% of people out there are not running those type numbers. It is what it is. I don't blame them though. Let's see what else we got. Tats on Twos, what's happening, brother? If you are just now joining the chat, go ahead and hit the like button. If you're a stalker in the background, I appreciate you for coming, and definitely hit the like button. I can't see it. You can still hit the like button. The more likes we get, the more this will continue to go and grow. I will start even bringing out more items for you guys to see. I'm gonna show you my new camera real quick. Just because I never show you guys my cameras or my equipment, I'll show you. Ace Pro 2, Insta360, Action 5, which is my favorite camera, okay? Do anything with either one of these cameras. This is the one I really like to put on my helmet. This will start to be one of my vlogging cameras, and we got one more camera. One more, hold on, I'll be right back. Hold on, guys, hold on. I know I'm sliding around, I'm lazy, I don't feel like getting up. Insta360 X3, Insta360 X5. Yeah, they've been hooking me up. They didn't hook me up with this one, I paid for this one. They hooked me up with this one. But yeah, the more we grow, the more we go. I'll start showing you guys more of the things that I do have and behind the scenes a little bit more, but yeah, hit the like button. 80 people in here, only 38 hit the like button. You know, this is how we get shut down, man. I feel like I'm just being robbed of my time when nobody hits the like button. Go and hit the like button. If you don't know how to do it, ask your kid or something like that. They'll show you how to hit the like button. What's faster, Bipolar or the CVO? Bipolar by a lot. Yeah, Bipolar by a lot. Oh, see, Rolando even said Bipolar. That bike is legit. Everything on that bike is just right. Like everything. I can let the handlebars go, and that bike just shoots so straight. It's so stable. It's stable at high numbers. Just everything about the bike is just perfect. And like I said, I just can't see myself letting that bike just sit rather than let somebody else enjoy that bike. Still don't have any miles on it. I think it has 12,000 on the clock, but we all know after we did the, the build, it's nowhere near that. Let's see what else we got. JPP 2422, 200 plus horsepower on the King when it's done. I don't know. It's gonna be some good power though. Whatever it's gonna be, I don't really know right now. I gotta guess, but I don't know what it's really gonna be. It's gonna be a handful. I'm sure of that. Do you sell shirts with the T-shirt with the logo on it? Yes, I do. I just don't have any at the moment, but I'll be getting some soon. Hopefully by next week before we go to Daytona. What's your opinion on rear tires for riding with a little bit more grip? Tats on Twos. The only thing I've seen really work is the Metzler Cruise Tech, which is what I run on my new bike. Anything good, in my opinion, that you want to throw around and make that bike handle a little bit better, doesn't last long. If you're riding straight line and you burning up about that much strip in the middle, you can put anything on there, but anything that you want to really try and get to really hook up ain't gonna last long. CVOST is the road bike. Rolando, I want to know what's up with your bike, man. I ain't seen you in a while. We got to get together. We got to talk. But Rolando was first guy I've seen with the Legendary Orange. We went on a ride. That was about a year ago. That ride we went on with the Legendary Orange, and I was like, yeah, that's the ticket, man. That was the one I almost bought over the ST, but it was kind of a toss-up. But Rolando has some nice bikes. I think he has, what you got? I ain't gonna tell you business. On some real shit, you're one of the only guys doing it. Well, see, let me say this, Teasy. A lot of guys talk about it, you know? A lot of guys aren't really 2 feet in. And sometimes when you're not 2 feet in, you're not gonna be so sure of yourself. I see a lot of other YouTube guys, and I'm just gonna use them for an example. Some people build theirs for the companies that they're working for. I really don't mention a lot of companies, especially if they don't, you know, if there's no real connection between the two of us. I shout out my mechanic George and everybody in the shop all the time. You see, I put all those guys in the videos because that's really who helps me. You know, I'm there often. Guys, I know you've probably, if you go to the shop, you know, if you go to the shop 2-3 days in a row, you're gonna catch me there. So I don't try to make it this big, you know, oh, I just love this because they're doing this for me. That's not it. It's really not it. Everybody down here in South Florida that owns a Harley has an addiction to it. And then when they go to the shop, the addiction grows even better. You know, I can't make it up. Me and my boys talk every day about Harley stuff. Like, you know, but that's what you should do. You know, if you don't get it out and get it off your mind, you're gonna swipe, whoop, swoop, swoop, swoop. And even if we talk about it enough, you can still swipe. So I rather have the conversation and be like, hey, it's a good idea, or you tell me it's a good idea and I do it, you know, versus me just out there winging it. Ah, man, you know, that's a part of the cool shit about this is grown man stuff. This ain't kids no more. You know, everything on this bike is $1,000. Let me see, what else we got? Let me scroll up. Let me see who I missed. Roadglide. But yeah, so from what I understood and I took from these other guys' video, mind you, this was put in my ear that, you know, I basically saw that they're not sure they're builders and they don't like people who go fast on their motorcycles. That's all I could kind of take from the whole video. Teasy. Listen, man, I'm not name dropping anybody. You know why? Because if they don't name drop me, I can't name drop them. So, I'm trying to be nice here. Right? I'm trying to be nice. I know guys got butthurt when I said, you know, fastest YouTuber. It is what it is. And they want to race over and over again after they take an L. And I'm not talking about anybody just specific. This is just what happens. You know, man, I done lost my train of thought looking at this. Anyway, I'm not talking about anybody specific, but, you know, enjoy the sport. Enjoy the sport. All right? That's all I'm going to say. Just enjoy the sport, and we can all. But, you know, once guys feel like, hey, I'm a man like everybody else, so I expect when I get on my bike and I turn it loose, that mug is going to run. And I should be out, you know, I feel like I'm a better rider, or I might feel like my bike's faster. That's what you're supposed to be thinking. That's what you're supposed to be. But some guys just get so butthurt about it, and especially if they lose. There's a guy out there that won't race me for nothing in the world, and I will never press him about racing. But there's other people that he races. Okay, hey, I get it. Nobody wants to be embarrassed. But if you in this game, if you're in any game, you play basketball, football, you didn't win every game. It is what it is. But at the same time, and I'm gonna be transparent, you have to know what you're sitting next to. You can't take your average bike. You can't take a 131 and go sit next to a bike like Bipolar. You couldn't do it with BMF. These bikes aren't on another level. I mean, that's just really on a whole nother level, if I'm being honest. What's the most horsepower I've seen out of the Thunder Header? 220 something. 220 something. Yeah. I'm sorry, that was big. That 275 Big Ben. He asked what was the most horsepower I've seen out of a Thunder Header. And I think he's asking that because a lot of these pipes will cap out at a certain horsepower. Thunder Header is just one of those ones that keep working. I've seen it make a little under 200 on 143s. Big blocks. I've seen it make power. So just depending on your setup, if you're searching for higher horsepower than that, you're probably gonna have to start looking at these custom pipes, because that's what they're designed for. Let's see what else we got. Please, guys, hit the like button, and I'm freezing in here, so I'm doing y'all all a favor. Let me turn this AC down. Sheesh. We got a few more minutes. Because I got some business to handle. Let's see what we got. Citrus Heat CVO ST 26. Oh, 2026 Reimagine is a beast. What do you think about it? I've seen it like 2 times. And that's the one that kind of looks like the RR, if I'm right. I can't see a Thunder Header making over 200 naturally aspirated. Must be nitrous. It's easy. That was Jeremy. Yes, it was a nitrous bike. Still made over 200. They should call me out. Teasy said they should call me out. Yeah, it's a lot of things. It's probably a lot of people who would like to call me out. But, we got to sit the same. We got to be on the same page. And if I'm steadily kind of like, trying to go faster with my bike, if you ain't going to jump ahead of me, you're not going to call me out. You're not going to feel comfortable with it. So what I feel like guys are going to start doing now, and they're going to start calling out this bike. What about this bike makes you feel like it needs to go out there and be really competitive? I don't know, but I feel like that's going to happen. Where's the line between small block and big block? My opinion, 135, 136, I guess, is the divider. Anything over that, anything over a 130 something, I consider a big block. What's the name of the handlebars on the CVO, and what style you name that? Not too popular in Cali. You got badass bikes. It's just a mini pullback as far as I know. You bringing that King to ATL, Kings in the South, Atlanta? Probably. I'm about 90% sure if everything goes right. You're going to have to ride the CVO ST because I'm going to win bipolar. Wheel cuts. Hey, man, listen. It's anybody's game. Guys, buy your tickets. Now, if you don't know where to buy the tickets, I will put it on this live. So after the live, you'll be able to see it. I will pin the link. Just basically go ahead and click the link and get you some tickets. Now, I don't know, guys, how much you really know about bipolar, but I'm going to tell you again on the outside. If you want to know something, components-wise, on the inside, I can't tell you. That's for whoever wins this bike, because I'm going to have a conversation with that person, and I'm going to say, do you want me to tell when we do this video of you receiving this bike? And that's totally their opinion. I mean, it's totally up to them if they say yes or no, or they don't even want to be seen. But I will let you guys know that this bike is won, and here's the winner, and you're going to see him pull off with that bike. BST carbon fiber wheels, okay? The lightest you can get on the market, probably one of the best wheels for racing. And I have been able to really ride this bike distance. Mind you now, we're talking distance is, 5 hours, 6 hours one way. Never had an issue. Galfa rotors, full Legend suspension, Hogworks headlight, Custom Dynamics turn signals. I did that for the aerodynamics of the bike. Those Custom Dynamics, as we all know, are super expensive. T-Man air cleaner, big throttle body, won't get too far into that. Big block motor. I will tell you it's a big block. Big oil cooler on the side. When you do run a big block like this, you need to have an oil cooler if you're going to keep it streetable. That is a custom oil cooler that the only people I've ever seen with it is All American Cycle. Fully adjustable, Legends in the rear. You know, we got the custom seat, custom clutch basket. Won't tell those deals. What else we got on this thing, man? We got a lot. This bike is tuned for E85 93. Shift light. Last but not least, it is chain drive, but it has a full sound system. Guys, I don't run the sound system on this bike 90% of the time, but it's loud. It's 2,400 watts that are interfering. Bike hollers. So if you're taking the wife out, she's gonna hear everything. 6-speaker setup, separate set of saddlebags for the 2 tins that are in those original saddlebags. We are on stock cases with this bike. Built bottom end, built everything. Bike's never had an issue. Doesn't leak oil. We have Trask vent, and we have 2 stabilizers on this bike. What else we have on this bike? We have something else on this bike. I'll think of it in a second. The more you guys ask, the more I can kind of tell, but I'm only telling the outsides of this bike. Tats on 2 said he's gonna win this bike. Hey, listen, it's anybody's game. Trust me, it's anybody's game. Will it come with the item listed and everything done to it? I could see if George will write us out something. Another thing, and I want you guys to understand this, that bike can be faster. George can do something to turn this bike up a little bit if you want to. That's totally up to you. I liked it just like it is. Ride smooth, sound good, and pulls like a freight train. Every time you've seen me hit this bike, or if you've ever seen George on the bike would always wheelie. I mean, just like an airplane. And we finally dialed it down. We finally figured out what needed to be changed to kind of keep that bike on the ground and have it as consistent as it's been as of late. But what else did I do to this bike? Well, we got the side fairing. There's something I'm forgetting to tell you guys that's probably important. If I think of it, I'll come back to it. Winner gets everything except, you want to know the only thing the winner doesn't get? That picture right there, Bipolar. That stays with me. I'm sorry. So the audio system. Guys, remember, I'm not supposed to tell you, but I use the best of everything. All right, so I'm gonna give you this. Somebody says is it Diamond Audio. We do have some Diamond Audio in that bike. So if I told you that and you know anything about a sound system, you know that bike is coming with some heat. Let's see what we got. Ortega Cruz says something about, okay, yeah, I read that already. All right. So if there's some racers in the background, if there's any racers in the chat right now, drop a flag. Drop the checkered flag. I want to have another conversation with you guys. I got a few more minutes. Vay said, oh, hell no, I want the flag. I get it. But, you know, the flag has to stay. That's my first Harley that I built that really you know, that's just it's still an impressive bike. And I'll put it to you like this. These bikes out of the factory are impressive. But I can tell you this, if I hadn't spent as much money in this bike, you know, it would never compete. It would not be able to compete with that. And this bike comes with a couple other windshields. I think I can put that together for you, because that's that windshield that you're trying to cut through the wind, you know, on a buffering, that's what you use. But yeah, all in your face. Keep dropping those checker flags if you are a racer. Kenneth, shout out to you. Got a nice badass ST. Like I said, that bike will be in Texas. SJ New 05, dropping that checker flag. What bike you got? What else? We got the wrap fender. Everything is perfectly matched on that bike, man. Like, I don't know how I got so lucky, because if you buy from one company to another company, shit's all over the place. This bike, I got really lucky. But I'm only using like 2 companies to, you know, I was using Harley, and then there's one other company. But Avant Black, at the end of the day, was able to match everything else. What else we got? Who's got any call-outs? Who's going to Daytona? I want to know everything. If any of the YouTubers that have been talking crap are going to Daytona, I want to know who it is. Old school Road King V-twin for the win. Okay. I've had guys also, you know, listen, I'm not the best rider in the world, but I think I can do decent. They'll send me their videos of them riding their bikes at you know, on their road. And I like this. This is what I really like. And they'll send me their draggy times. Mind you, my draggy stay on this bike. But, you know, just to make sure we right. And sometimes I'm like, hey, impressive. Sometimes I'm like, you gotta clean up here and clean up there. But, you know, I thought that was pretty cool. A guy sent me his draggy numbers the other day, because I think it was just, you know, he wanted to see where he's at. Guys, you gotta understand, if the bike is fast, you'll know it. All American bikes are very consistent, and most of them are fast. I ain't gonna put y'all business out there, but I'm gonna name 2 people right now. And they ain't even know I'm about to name them. Jeremy, LA Breakers, he sent me his draggy numbers before, and I told him. Nice. Rick sent me his numbers. Nice. Guys, if you feel like you about to race and you don't know that type of stuff, save your money and your face, because we got some guys out here that get down on these bikes. So TZ24, he keeps saying, call these people out, call these people out, call these people out. You know, I've been looked at. I don't know how long you've been watching and following me on social media or YouTube or whatever, but I've always been called the bully, okay? I've been called the bully. Hold on, give me a second. I've been called the bully for a long time, and I never kind of understood why they would call me the bully. It's just playful, you know, talk and banter, because I felt like all of us do it because it's like the nature of the beast. When you're competitive at something, you know, you talk your mess. But at the end of the day, I do know that some guys don't appreciate it. They get upset. They get butthurt. They get in their feelings. So you kind of gotta play nice. You can't make friends. You can't make friends with vinegar, right? You know, ain't that how it goes? That's what they say, something like that. Looking for something, guys. Looking for something, but it's probably not meant for me to find right now. But, you know, just because I don't call them out don't mean that, you know, I'm not down to have some fun with the guys. It's just sometimes, hey, listen, sometimes it's best not to, because we're all in this YouTube circle, you know what I mean? And you don't want to kind of be the black eye of the circle. Listen, everybody knows we got fast bikes down here. And anybody who has run any of these bikes usually come down here after they lose. I'm not talking about who you guys think I'm talking about either. I'm talking about guys that you've never seen before. Yeah, that's who I'm talking about. I'm talking about the guys that go out to the big races and run across some of the all-American bikes, and if they don't win, they're at the shop. And that's kind of like, hey, I would do this. I think I would. I think I might come to the shop. You beat me, I'm going to your shop. I want to be fast. If I see there's a difference between you and all these other places, can we blame you? Now, let me get to another topic. I'm not going to touch this. I'm not going to touch this topic. I see what's coming. If you want to be competitive, if you're out there, because we're having race talk today, and this is also for those guys on YouTube that were talking smack. If you got 170 horsepower, you can't ride anywhere. It's unreliable. Guys build bikes, don't race them, blah, 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 blah. At the end of this day, right, if you're competitive, this is how you know who's competitive. He has more than one bike. I'm going to let that sink in for a second. Anybody who's competitive, if you're on that chat right now, if you're in here, and you know what I'm talking about, just go ahead and speak up. Say, yes, it's the truth. That's all you got to say. Truth. That's it. You can't own one bike and expect to ride it everywhere and then race it everywhere on that other level of being competitive. It ain't gonna happen. There's too many factors that play into that game. And I figured that out by downtime of the bike. Bike's gotta be down because we gotta do this. We gotta do that. We gotta make it faster. We gotta do this. And that's gonna make it faster. And now I've dumped all this money into it. I need something that I can just sit back and cruise. That's when that type of stuff comes along. But then how often does that stay stock? Or how often does it just stay stage 2, you know, or something like that? Not often. So that's where the addiction comes in. If you got more than one bike and you know you have to have it, you have a killer on the compound. Drop it in the chat real quick, man, because this is us getting it out. If we don't get it out, if we don't get it out, you're gonna be like me and the rest of my buddies. I'm going to buy another bike, man, because no, it is what it is. Don't get into the game if that's not the route you plan on really taking. I'm gonna bring the Road King to the channel again. I'm gonna do an introduction, but you guys are gonna see it maybe the Sunday before I drop a video, okay? I'll show you in the live before I drop an actual video. So if you guys come to the lives, you get the first dibs on it, okay? That's how I'm gonna treat y'all, because y'all in here for me, I'm gonna be here for y'all. So, everything regular gave that bike away. Which one? It gave like 20 bikes away. Which one are we talking about? Big Jim. Bipolar would look good next to gold bricks in my garage. Jim, you my boy. You my boy. But gold bricks and Bipolar cannot sit. They're gonna fight all night. That's two killers in the garage. What do you think gonna happen? You better put something between the two of them. Now he's got a nice bike, man. He knows I really like that bike. Jim, are you going to Daytona the first week to turn and burn, or are you going the second week? I know you're going. But anyway, getting back to it. And it's not because the bikes aren't reliable and they can't ride anywhere. It's just you dump too much money in it for, anything to happen, anything stupid to happen, anything, So I'm telling you guys over and over, these bikes make a ton of horsepower. I ride them anywhere I want. I ride this bike I actually ride it like it's a sport bike more than it's a Harley. I don't think it's ever been out, and I haven't put it over 120. Now, that's in Mexico. Let me find some wood or something. Hope the feds ain't watching. But, our 120 is kilometers, right? So there's never been a time that I haven't. And I pressed this bike because I want to see how far, how long I can push it. I think I kept it stock for 3,000 miles. We got 5,000 on it now, but that 2,000 hard, rough miles. You've seen me make test hits after test hits after test hits after test hit, and I'm on a belt. 90% of the world would have popped the belt right now, by now. The difference is I know I have a belt and I respect it and I don't feel like getting stranded. Most people ain't gonna let that clutch go and just, yeah, you're gonna be sitting exactly where you at too. Not me. Not unless I had a trailer close by. Let me see what else we got. If you're in here, hit the like button. Just go ahead and hit it, man. I know you don't want to because you're waiting on me to say something to piss you off or you want to steal my idea. It's okay. I get it. But you can still hit the like button. Keep us all enthused, man, So anybody you know who has fast bikes usually has two. Most of the guys that come to the shop, if they're one of the heavy hitters, they got two bikes. If you feel like, Rolando, I got you. This bike makes 184. They make 184 or 185. It made 182 on 93 and made 184 85 on E85. What you got to say? What you got to say about that? That's 10 more horsepower than that 170 you was talking about. Let's see. Do you like the Chromeworks exhaust? Good question. Teasy, I need you here every week. I'm going to get out of the way so you guys can see the Chromeworks exhaust. Let me even do you guys a solid. Let me rearrange my camera a little bit because just a little bit. Hold on, guys. Hold on. I'm being selfish here. My scooter, my old Segway's back there. So that's the Chromeworks without the baffle in it. That's the one you cannot have in California. I think that's what they say. And I've never really seen how much power you're limited to with the Chromeworks. But I said, you know what, we got to push it. See how far we can actually get with it. And we made over 180, and I was surprised. And then we were able to make a little bit more, and I was surprised. What I did do, these guys are talking this STD and SAE horsepower numbers. Guys, you got to remember, you got to be fair. You got to be fair all around the board because I can guarantee you I can put on any dyno and it'll make 180. What I had to do is take the reducer out. Okay? You got to take the reducer out and let that bike breathe a little bit. With a stage 2, stage 1, I believe you could just go ahead and keep the reducer in because it gives the back pressure. You need it. But after that, go ahead and take it out, especially when your bike's really, a grown man. When that bike's pumping, take it out. Let's see. What bike are you going to replace Bipolar with? It's not a replacement. This will never be Bipolar. This is the new wave. I believe that's what everybody's about to start coming to for racing. But that bike is probably still the ultimate race machine, just because of how everything is not as so computer, it's not held back so much. But this is pretty much what I'm going to be riding all the time, So I can't call it a replacement. And if I'm being honest with you, this bike has nothing on Bipolar. It doesn't even look as good as Bipolar. There's nothing slouch about Bipolar. I just don't use it. I feel like I'm just letting that bike rot, and it's not good to the bike. I mean, I taking, dust the tires off every now and then and try and go, but sad day when it's got to go. A quad exhaust is potential. Hold on, guys. Hold on. A quad exhaust with potential power, like other. I don't know what you're trying to ask me. That motherfucker ain't quiet. It's not quiet anymore. Most people are gonna disagree with what I'm about to say, but I had Thunder Max on this bike. And as soon as I put that Power Vision on this bike, and I did a video, a little side-by-side comparison of how they start and how they sound, it sounded like a different bike, like completely different bike. And everybody said, oh, you pulled the reducer out. I didn't do anything. I left it in there. But I don't know, maybe my bike just, I don't know. I couldn't really tell you. The bike obviously didn't like to be on a Thunder Max because it woke up. It woke up with horsepower. Maybe something was going on. I don't know. But when you ride the bike on Power Vision, now remember, this bike's on Power Vision. My Road King's on Power Vision. And then this one was on Thunder Max. Maybe that's why I knew the difference. But I can let this bike, this is how you know you got a good tuner. I can let it be at 1,700 RPMs and still ride without it chugging out on me. It's hard to beat something like that. And Bipolar is even smoother, it's just as smooth as that. When I say, I know sometimes when I say a lot of stuff that guys will be like, he's talking, he's just pumping up this, that, and the other. My game was never to boost anybody's head up to buy a product. Guys, I rarely do product reviews unless it's something I'm 110% behind. So when I say, I went to Power Vision and I did this, that, and the other, and I noticed this, and I can show you graph, dyno graph, and all that other stuff, the proof's in the pudding. Jeremy said, bro, mine sounds so much better now with the Power Vision. We'll send you a video and post one. Bro, I'm here every Sunday. I've been here ever since you had the red bike. Man, I appreciate it. It's just what it is, man. It is what it is. But like I said, guys, when I get my Road King back, I will definitely bring it to you guys first on a Sunday. I'll hold out. Then after that, yeah, we're going to unveil that thing in front of everybody. I think I've hit on everything I needed to answer. Anytime somebody sends me something and hey, they're like, hey, check this out. That happens a lot. And I check it out and I see something I need to discuss with you guys, I'm going to bring it up. I don't care. Power Vision safer for on my new M8. Met 2 guys with blown pistons on Thunder Max. Now, I can't bash. I can't bash, but I've seen the most 121 stock motor or stage 2s lose rings, different things like that. I'm not going to say why. I'm not going to get into that conversation, but I have seen it. Saw one like, what was that, 2 weeks ago? Guy came in from far away, and he's like, hey, bike stopped losing, the bike lost compression. The bike stopped thumping. He stopped hearing that cam. We all know the pistons are weak in the 121s, which was my reason for going to 135 over stage 2. I remember we all had that conversation. Could be how it was tuned. Or no, not how it was tuned. Could be what was tuned on it. I don't know. Could be that the pistons are just weak. I also can say this, though. You guys seen me make plenty of test hits when my bike was bone stock. Didn't hurt nothing. All right, moving right along. Tats on 2 say I gained 12 horsepower or more on the Power Vision. Are you telling me you did? Or you're asking me if I did? Because I did. My bike went from 170 to 182. We didn't touch nothing but a Power Vision. And when I did it, it was so impressive because I'm gonna tell you that George was sending me pictures like, hey, this bike's still making power every time I make a pull with this Power Vision. And we're sitting here, and I told him, I'm like, that's not my bike. That's not my bike. Show me that's my bike on the dyno. You know, that's because I was in disbelief. Now, maybe I just got lucky or whatever, but that's just what it was. So Tats on 2s, he said his did as well. Tats on 2s, you got a YouTube channel, I'm assuming. And I don't know if you do, and if there's somewhere we can all see that you made that power. Listen, I'm not a gatekeeper, guys. If he's got YouTube, go check him out. But I have some buddies, you know, picked up, didn't pick up as much, different strokes. I don't know, but they all were able to say the same thing. The bike runs so much smoother. The bike runs so much harder. So I'm never the big horsepower guy because horsepower only sells on YouTube. I am the numbers guy. I put that bike on the street under the same conditions that I had it on before, and I try to make a blast. And if the numbers changed, I know what's going on. The numbers don't change, here's what it is. Even the top end speed went from 110 to 144 stock. That I do believe. What do you think about a CVO with a VVT? Big Man Chris, 1425. Take that VVT out of there. That's what I think. I haven't really posted anything. I have a ton of content. I do, but I haven't really posted anything. Okay. Yeah, man, when you post something, let us all know so we can all check it out. Is there any other YouTubers in the building that don't want me to know that they're in the building? I wanted smoke tonight, but I didn't get it. And that's okay. Maybe it wasn't meant to be. We will be back next Sunday. I might drop you guys a video this week. I'm really not consistent on the videos, guys. We all know that. I got 20,000 things going on every week. I have to be able to pay for some of this stuff. So we will definitely try and get back together and make something happen. And if I do see something interesting inside the shop, I will bring it to you. If you guys are taking your bikes to the shop anytime soon, let me know. I'll come out there and check you out. So don't forget, we have this Saturday the 28th, burn and turn to Daytona. Hope to see some of you guys there. If you see me, you walk past me, at least say something, because you see me, I don't really get to see you. The next weekend, I should be there again, maybe. I don't have a place to stay. I guess I should have said that. I don't have a place to stay. I'm homeless for Daytona. What else we got? All right, Tats on 2 saying he's doing a fender install tomorrow. He's gonna drop his video. Okay. What else? I don't know if you guys have any other questions for me, but I got 2 minutes to answer questions. What do I do for a living? I go to work, man, every day. Quick story. I'm at the shop Thursday or Friday. Guy comes from another shop. I'm not mentioning no names. I'm not mentioning anything. He comes from another shop, and nice bike, nice CVO. For some reason, everybody with a CVO comes to the shop. But anyway, he comes to the shop. Nice motor. He's getting wheels put on. He's just like, I gotta have George, look at this bike because I'm not 100% confident in the bike. He tells me a little story that I'm not gonna mention now. And at the end of the story, I'm like, hey, I've heard this before. But he says, my son watches you. Like, how old is your son? 25. Now, me at 25 would never do any of this. Shout out to you. I appreciate it. But he's like, my son came down to the shop. George put a cam in the bike. He comes back home. He's whooping everybody's ass. Big motors and everything with a cam bike. Now, I tell you all the time, when that shop touches your bike, it's another bike. It's another animal. I don't exaggerate this. I've been in racing so long, cars, bikes, you name it. I'm gonna try to race it. Banshees, everything across the board. I know fast. I know good builders. I know bad builders, shady builders, people who really don't know what they're doing, and people who pretty much know as much as I know that's trying to build a bike. But at the end of the day, you know, you don't go to the right place, you're gonna pay twice. And I said that because I know he might be watching right now, and we kind of had to talk. But shout out to him for coming to the shop and really getting that bike looked at, and being able to admit sometimes, hey, and it's like anything, sometimes you just don't know, and that's why I like to kind of get out there and tell guys, listen, I done seen it all. There's nothing new. There's nothing new that you can tell me. And if you don't believe the first time, by the second time you mess your bike up, you'll be back down here. It is what it is. And if I can torture a bike and it don't break, trust me, you'll be good. I'll be in Daytona on the 7th and the 8th, then riding to Key West. Let me know, Stephen Miller. Don't forget, I will be doing a few rides in Daytona that second weekend. If you don't have Instagram, please get Instagram. The world is Instagram at this point. So you can keep up when I drop a story to show you where I'm going, to show you where I'm at, and you guys can all come hang out. Because there's nothing better than seeing the guys who watch you and then I can actually meet you. If you're going to the shop, same thing. Shoot me a message on Instagram. I usually show up. And I think that's it. Let me see. Hold on. Let me answer about everybody's things first. Ray Glide said, George built my 135 on a Thunder Max and made 178 and 169, but I want to come back to get it tuned with the Power Vision. That's cooking with grease, man. It's cooking with grease. Are you going to have t-shirts and hoodies the second weekend of Daytona? I can. I tried to do that last year, man. I sold out within probably the first 30 minutes. I was at Daytona. As soon as I went into destination, it was just like, yeah, hey, I need that. Come on, buddy. And I'm walking back to the bike, and I got like 4 guys, with me that are carrying, my stuff in their bags for me. So I'm gonna try. I'm gonna really try. If you want to put in an order so I can make sure I get it for you and save it for you, hit me on Instagram. That's kind of like the best that I can do, man. I mean, sometimes it's just like, TZ said, why Power Vision now? He was talking to Ray Glide. I'm gonna let Ray Glide answer that. Another guy Friday from Georgia said the same thing, gained 12 horsepower. He loved it. I don't work for Power Vision. They have not given me $1. They haven't reached out to me. They haven't said anything to me. But all I can do is vouch for the product I'm getting or that I've seen work. Scott Barbosa. Next motor build, he said, next motor I build is going to allamericancycles coming from Boston. Guys, I know that's a trip. That's a trip and a half to bring it, but you'd be happy, trust me. And from what I heard, it gets more dialed in with the Power Vision. That's true. Mike will tell you about it too. He had Thunder Mac. Okay. Yeah. I think it's just a little bit more precise. And that's why I said you can that's how I would check the bike. When I let them idle a little low, when I'm trying to get them to chug and see where they start to chug at. Some guys can't even get at 2,000 RPMs without the bike chugging. They can't get under 2,000. The bike's gonna damn near die. You gotta grab that clutch. And in my opinion, I'm not a tuner. I haven't taken a tuning class, but I feel like, with anything, cars, trucks, bikes, whatever, if you gotta be tuned, it has to be tuned down low and on through the RPM range and, that drivability. That's what we're looking for. Drivability and reliability, in my opinion. Guys, remember, I've ridden Bipolar to Daytona a few times. Hard burning turns, man. Burn and turn and then ride up the next weekend and stay. Like I said, it's 3.5 hours for me each way. That's 7 hours of riding, right? That's called 7 hours plus my riding time in Daytona. That's another maybe, what, 2, 3 hours? So if we're looking at 10 hours of riding, over 180 horsepower, don't get your bike built anywhere else if you can't ride a 170 horsepower bike nowhere. All right, let's see what we got. Did I miss anybody? Did I say anything that I wasn't supposed to? Because I don't care. Anybody got smoke? That's the fire. We put it out. Any racing in the way there and back? Burn and turn racing? Get to the back. Get away from us. Get away from my lane. If you're gonna turn the throttle, pick a lane and y'all get it on. Guys, you seen the ride I took. Went over to like Fort Myers. It's 2.5 hours west of me. And I had a big group. You know, that's when all the guys came out. Much love to everybody who came out too. A good ride though. Oh, it was a super good ride. But man, when I tell you, you can't tell nobody to not race. They're gonna do some racing. Here, trust me. Now, I don't road race. I did back in the day with my sport bikes. I don't road race. Them dudes are treating these bikes like they were Hayabusas. So, yeah, just be careful. GMS Racing is one of the best tuners in PA if you can't go that far. We'll ask again, why do y'all not use Impact? Listen, man, I don't bash anybody, but Impact's super expensive, first of all. Second of all, not all tuners want to work with Impact. You got some that do, you know. I mean, I really feel like it's all based on your tuner, who your builder is, and then your tuner. Myself, I don't want to go to two separate people. I want this all to be the same person that does everything, because he's gonna have the best knowledge if anything was going to go wrong. So I'm not saying Impact isn't good. I'm not saying that because I haven't run Impact. I've actually talked to the guy from Impact, and before I was able to get a Thunder Max, I was gonna go Impact, but you know, just availability of the Thunder Max at the time, kind of needed it. Mind you, Power Vision's only been out a couple months. It's still got some quirks in it, but you know, George is over there, you know, dialing them in. And like I said, you know, sometimes you still gotta, you could be in a whole nother state, so you kind of gotta, you know, deal with who you got over there. But it is what it is. GMS Racing is one of the best tournaments, you can't go that far. Okay. When I have my bike is on limbo mode. Oh, okay. Damn. Rolando, why'd you have to bring that up? I'm not bashing, guys, but when I would make test hits, and a lot of us would, on our bikes with Thunder Max, if you get too close to the limiter, it will go into limp mode. Cause guys to lose some money on races. I don't know why. It was a quirk. I don't know if it all got fixed. I'm sure it did by now, but that was one of those things when we went to Atlanta, and that was July. Hey, we can't have that problem because at certain times you can't see it. Like on the dyno, I guess it wasn't, you know, it wouldn't happen. But then we get out there and I made a couple test hits, bike right in limp mode. I'm like, shit, what are you gonna do? You gotta shift early. So, no shade. I'm sure they fixed it. I'm sure they fixed it by now. What else we got? Somebody just bought some raffle tickets. Good job. If you haven't bought, I'm telling you now, you probably should. I don't know why I'm telling you now, but you probably should. Don't let it get away from you. I will post the link. If you go on any of my older videos, the last couple of videos I have done, they're in the comment section. Just go to the comments, you'll see it highlighted. Just click it. It'll take you right to where you need to go ahead and get your entries. I will send you a sticker. If your sticker still hasn't come, I have about 3 or 4 people that their addresses weren't right, and the mail got sent back to me. Now, you still have your entries and everything, but you don't have your sticker. I want you guys to have your sticker. I don't want you to not have it. I want you to be able to, show it when we do the giveaway. A lot of things are coming with this bike. Just in case you're just now joining, I'm gonna go over this real quick and I gotta get out of here. A lot of things will come with this bike. Everything you need to ride this bike wherever you want, have it sound good, look good, everything comes with this bike. Windshields, tour pack, 10-inch subs, all the amps are already in there. Everything is already installed. That bike is turnkey, rock and roll, 10-second bike. Turnkey, 10-second. Every time I say it, man, I feel bad for her. All right. But anyways, everything, the bike's been ceramic coated. It has the best of everything. Full suspension. You guys know BST wheels. Everything is on that bike. Best of the best. So make sure you guys get your entries. What made me choose Power Vision over Impact Wiring Solution? My tuner. Yeah, my builder said go this way. Guess which way we're going? With him. Whatever he says, that's the way we're taking. And I'm not saying that Impact is not good. I'm just saying, at the time, the availability for me and the price-wise, I had to go Thunder Max. But then I was ultimately waiting for Power Vision. Remember, I like to change maps. Power Vision, I think, is the only one where you can carry multiple maps just on your phone. Your E85, your race gas, your pump fuels, all those different things are right here, and just doop, doop, and there you go. You have that fuel change. I don't know anybody else that can do that. We definitely need to take a chance on this one. Task on twos, you're right. And it's gonna be surprising, I'm sure. There's gonna be a guy that bought 1 ticket. That's how they win the lottery. It's always the guy that bought 1 ticket, man. I don't know. Thinking about putting 135 and a 25 on Raven Fade. Should I worry about the warranty and do it through the dealer or American Cycles? Rolando said it first. American Cycle is the way. Guys, you got to remember this. If you are not a super hard rider, there's really not a time that you need to worry. Look at all these new Harleys. After the 114 was built, Harley was now it's a reliable bike. When these first came out, the new generation, of course, it was going to have its quirks, but you really haven't been hearing about anything from this anymore, right? What is it called? You know what I'm talking about. The little wire that kills one of the cylinders. It's the only thing that I've ever had to really change out on my bike. And I changed the clutch cable because I'm too much of an animal sometimes, and I'm afraid of clutch cable. But that comes with anything. So these new bikes have not had any issues. So when you guys say I don't want to void my warranty, I know a guy, and I ain't gonna say his name or tell his business, but he's like, I'm not doing anything to my bike until the warranty is up before I do my stage 2. Harley does not care about your stage 2 if something goes terribly wrong. Now, I ain't saying go out there and do it yourself if you don't know what you're doing, but if you take it somewhere, All American Cycles, that's the last thing you should ever think to worry about. It does not affect your wiring harness. It does not affect your infotainment center. It doesn't really affect anything. It's bolt-on parts. That's it. So if you're gonna do a 135, and you want the most out of the 135, if you want the massage 135 or you want the Harley 135, that choice is totally up to you. You won't go wrong either way. You won't fail you. But in my opinion, if you want something that you're like, okay, I don't have to worry about this bike being a turd, like when I roll on the throttle, I gotta wait for it, you gotta go to a reliable, reputable shop. And that's what puts the smile on your face at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Some guys, like I said, they go after horsepower. Some guys go after the numbers that the bike, the quarter mile numbers, the 8 mile number, the ET of the bike. You know, I'm more of an ET guy myself. I could care less about the horsepower, but as long as I'm where I need to be, it is what it is. So 135, probably one of the most reliable horsepower bikes, motors that you can do. On top of that, if you have a CVO or CVO ST, all it is a top end kit. Yeah, Raven Face. So you have a 121 already. You already got the crank. Go to AC, bro. You ain't gonna get one. I promise. Not all the 135s are the same. We'll give you that sauce. Rick, can I tell you a story? Can I tell a little bit and not go too far into detail? How about Dirtbags, California? What are we talking about, teasing? I'm just waiting for Ms. Natalie to call and say George is ready to bring your bike. Woo! David Fowler. Hey, those are always the words you want to hear. Bring that bike. That's that. You know what? You know, I'm going to tell him to get a shirt that says bring the bike, because that's what he said. I live 20 minutes from All American Cycles, but we do trips, and dealers say nobody's going to touch it. If ever breaks, maybe just scare me. Yeah, trust me. And Mac still waiting on a t-shirt. Did you buy a t-shirt? All right, Rick said I can tell a story. So Rick took his bike. I'm gonna tell the beginning of the story. So I meet Rick out on my ride I did about a year ago. And he was like, you know, he's thinking about doing a 135. The bike was a stock bike pretty much. I think he just had some pipes or something. I don't remember. But anyway, he said he wanted to do a 135. I'm like, okay, cool. You know, it's 60, 70 people out of here. You know, my memory's all right, but it ain't the best. And he ended up, because he has a CVO, so he's got the 121 with the cranking and everything he needs. But he ended up buying a full motor kit and then taking the motor kit to somebody else. Now, he had a reason. He says, you know, I won't tell the reason why he took it to somebody else, but it was somebody a little bit closer anyway. So time, you know, and, you know, all that type of stuff came into play. And he, you know, he made some power, but then he took it to All American for his own reasons. Had to pay again, but he made more power. And not only did he make more power, you now feel the difference. I don't care what the number says. I go by seat of the pants and what this bike actually does. If it wasn't wheeling before and it's wheeling now, I don't care if it made one more horsepower. And if that's all it took, I love it. Get your bike done by somebody who can vouch, or you guys have seen their stuff work. There's so many shops out there. And I know I got in the chat late recap for I got you, bro. There's so many shops, and mind you, I have nothing to do with this. I don't own a business. You can't tell me you do this and everything is great with this, that, and the other. And you're supposed to. And I'm not talking cash shit, but I'm not telling you got to go out there and race either, but you got to be able to prove that your product is worth the money you're charging. You get guys that come from Virginia, down here, Chicago, down here, Quebec, I think California bike here. Past 20 shops on the way, so you got to be able to tell me why you are allowed to talk so much trash, and then I go to, and you don't have anything out here on the road. All right, I just said what I had to say. I can't wait to feel what 153 with a 200 horsepower feels like my 170, 135 SB. 170 horsepower on a Harley, no matter how you look at it, is fast. Now, I'm going to put it in perspective for you. If you know anything about the track racing, or, you know, quarter mile times, eighth mile times, 6 seconds to get to an eighth of a mile. I don't care if it's 6:99, 99, 99. That's fast. I don't care what you're in, what you're on, how you get there. but the fact of doing it on a 1,000-pound motorcycle. I remember back in the day, I could take a CBR 1000 and go 680s in an eighth of a mile. I'm hanging on for dear life, and it's bucking like a Bronco, but 680s on a 500-pound bike with a 150-pound rider versus a 1,000-pound bike with a 180-pound rider. That's saying something. I'm just saying, the game has changed, guys. The game has really changed. Coach K Mac one, they just be yapping. I said, Mac, who's your top 3 builders? Peter Johnson in the building, and got in the chat late. Recap the rides for Daytona. Get offline. Real quick, Turn and Burn, Saturday, February the 28th. I'm not gonna be there that long, but I will be there and hit a couple of the spots, but I'll be back the next weekend. And next weekend is where I'll be posting the rides that I'm gonna be doing. I'm not gonna unveil them yet. I gotta make sure everything's right, the time's right and everything, so make sure you follow me on Instagram. Go ahead to Instagram now, give me a little something, little checker flag or something that you were in the chat today so I know who I'm talking to. So yeah, he said, who's my top 3 builders? Would I be a hater if I could say I don't have a top 3 builder? And the only reason why I say this is because I don't know the behind the scenes of anybody else's shops. Now, I know that a lot of people out there can make horsepower. I don't know how reliable it is. I don't know how long it lasts. I don't know what these people tell you. But I do know that I would only go to one place. That's all I can tell you. And I can tell you the parts that I do like to use, like your T-Man, like your Ward stuff, you know. I'm not gonna name a can because everybody goes crazy about these cans. I don't know why. But there's people that I would say reputable parts. But as far as a builder, I can only say one, man. I know guys. Hey, listen. First of all, I got love for all the guys out there that are builders. I know a lot of them. But that doesn't mean, like, you know, is the fastest the best or the most reliable the best? Is the best the guy that's gonna make sure your bike stays you know, healthy? That bike's not failing on you? Is that somebody who we can, you know, pick? Because that's what I'm gonna go for. I can't name anybody else after. I'm not saying to be biased. Yes, I'm biased, but I can't say that I have enough knowledge to say who's number 2 or number 3 for me. That ain't me skating out of that one. That's me telling the truth. I'll let everybody else say it. Y'all here for a reason, man. Ooh, Ray Glide just said something. And I'm going to hit on this one because I still want smoke in the city. So Ray Glide said to Teasy, okay? He said, everyone I've taken my bike to in Texas, I've had an issue with, one way or another. And then Teasy said, well, where was everybody going before All American? They were going to Harley, shit. No, man, you know, you got a lot of good builders out there. You guys can see that, you know, there's horsepower to be made out there, but I've seen guys make a ton of horsepower come to the track, not even the track, but come to the street and blow up in the same day. If you came to Kings of the South last year, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Now, there was something else I was going to hit on. Okay, I remember now. The comment from Texas, he said that, you know, everybody's taking a bike to in Texas has pretty much messed them over. Like something was wrong every time. You know, when I start fidgeting, I'm going to say some shit. So there was once upon a time when, you know, my channel was still new, you know, real young. Guys helped me get to 50K this year. That there was a builder out of Texas that came from California, I think. Then he just moved to Texas and started building. And everything he was saying was basically bashing, you know, shop. And he would say stuff like, they can't do that on pump fuel, you know, calling E85 some super secret now that we just get out of the pump everywhere. But he would say all these different things. And the that he had was a YouTuber. And then all of a sudden, let me see if anybody else is gonna say it before I say it. That customer ain't his customer no more. When guys say who, like TZ said, who's top 3, who's second best, there's guys out there building shit. Yes, I know that. I'm just not going to name drop, not because I'm not showing them no respect or no love. It's just because merely the fact that I just don't know enough. You guys are coming out there with some fast-ass bikes, and they weren't built by George, so I know you went somewhere. Building that shit in your backyard. You built this somewhere. I know a lot of guys that go to those places. They got some killer bikes out there right now. It's not built by George only. But at the end of the day, I can't tell you how many of those shops can take 10 bikes, show up at a race, and win. No, sir. Absolutely not. You can't give me 10 customer bikes from any shop. I don't care what you're talking about. And that will come and beat All-American Cycle like that. Ain't gonna happen. Don't argue with me. Argue with somebody else. Tell me a shop that can do it. Tell me a shop that you've seen the proof from. Because if you have to be big time to get a fast bike, no, sir. Now y'all calling names. I ain't saying no names. I ain't saying. There's a lot of shops that can give you sound, not enough power, not enough reliable. Yeah, I hear Mickey Cohen's good. See, TZ, now you just started stuff now. He might be, I don't know. I've never talked to the man a day in my life. I have never seen, you know, any of his work, and he's all the way out on the West Coast, I think. I think he's in California or something like that. This game has changed, guys. Let me put you up on something else. Harley used to be the old man's game. Half the kids that I see that are riding Harleys and racing don't even have facial hair. Tell me I'm wrong. They're barely getting stubble. They ain't out there on sport bikes. Look at Cali. Look at Cali. Them dudes are super young. They've been doing it forever. Don't get me wrong. But ever since this new platform, and I'm not talking about this new platform, I'm talking about that M8 platform. Ever since that M8 platform came around, you see how young these kids are now. I'm freezing. But you see how young these kids are now. And it's a reason for it. Because not only can you race it, you can ride it. Only bike I ever heard that came from George, where the so-called engine wasn't right is, whoa! Jeremy Fowler just, he's swinging. I'm not gonna read it. If you guys didn't see it, or if you can't see it, I'm not gonna say what he just said. I have to proofread. I've been a proofreader, and I have to start proofreading again. All right. DZ said, Mac, you proving to all of us that All-American Cycle is the best. I'm just saying that's who I like. I ain't saying who the best is, and y'all got me on here 30 minutes after I'm supposed to be gone. Mac, like you said, it might only be 1 horsepower, but what matters is the numbers in the field. All-American Cycles give me both just on a stage 2. Where it was, oh, whoa, Jeremy Fowler. I gotta watch you. Can I explain detail? Well, hold on. Let me cut through a little bit of the just said, and I'll be able to. 14.1 compression. on a 147. I don't know. But I do know it's Palm Beach. So what I can tell you, and this is just my opinion because it's happened to me. All right, how about that? This has happened to me. I built a bike. This is sport bike talk, and I'm gonna hit where you need me to hit. All right. I built the bike, um, and I ended up having to take it to another shop to get something else done. So the guy who built my bike told me I made XYZ horsepower. Right. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. For some reason, something was happening with the bike. I don't remember what it was. So I'm like, hey, I got to take it somewhere else. I'm not going to take it in them right now because it's too far. Let me go see what happens with this bike at this shop, see if they can tell me something. They put my bike on the dyno, and it's down like 20-some horsepower. I'm like, hold on, this guy just told me I had this. It was down more than what the stock bike was. So now you don't know who to believe, right? When you go into multiple people to let them touch your bike, you don't know who is. When to me, I'm like, look, I got races coming up. Tear that bike apart. Tell me what's wrong. He tore the bike apart and he showed me what's wrong. Reliable guy. Put the bike together. Didn't make the horsepower that guy said it made, but the bike was an 820 bike. And I promise you guys that it didn't need to make this super crazy amount of horsepower. It just needed somebody reliable behind it to make it go. Now I can imagine if I would have took that bike from him to him and then went and got a third opinion, I wouldn't know who was right. I would not be able to figure out and chase down the assailant. But what I did do, had to go back to the first guy, showed him the pictures. This is what you told me you did, but this is what I'm looking at. And then, had to get a refund on my money, stuff like that. Now, from what I'm reading here, if somebody goes from one shop to another shop, and then to another shop, you said, let me see. Yeah, you said a couple shops. You have lost your money. All right, I'm gonna just say that. You've lost your money. You're gonna have to find your way back to the most reliable source you can. So whatever you gotta do to get back to the most reliable person you can, get there. Now, let's talk about compression, okay? I'm not a builder, but I do know if there's a certain amount of compression a motor has, there's gotta be a certain octane that bike has to run. Every now and then, we can run across crap gas, or if somebody who doesn't know much about building, build your bike for a higher octane fuel than you can really afford to go out and get out of a pump, basically. Yes, you're going to have a problem. Whether that's true or not, or whether that is the fact or not, for me, I'm sticking to who did XYZ for me. You can't fix it, now I gotta go somewhere else. I don't know what his situation is. I don't really know the full story. Don't care to know it, don't wanna know it. I'm just telling my opinion on what I've been through. All right, what's the word on the dyno guy in Florida? Ooh. Man, I got arthritis all of a sudden. I'm gonna have to get up. I don't know him. Yeah, can't speak on that one. Boy, y'all throwing fire. Whoa. The guy that rebuilt this motor like 3 times, so he has issues taking that with a grain of salt. I tried to read it slow so I wouldn't say nothing I was supposed to say. Listen, leave him alone. Leave him alone. He made a mistake. We all make mistakes. If that's the case, he's gonna figure out a way to get it fixed. My only thing is, if I'm telling you, I've never had a discussion with him to even know what the big situation was. But if there's one person that can fix it, we all know who it is. I'm never pulling George's coattail. Trust me, I'm telling you the business aspect of George and why we spend the money with him. I've done it 3 or 4 times already. I mean, actually more, but I'm just saying, out of 3 bikes, not one of my bikes has been anywhere else to get anything done. So if he's had a problem, I'm sure it's going to get fixed. Is that probably the proper way to say this? Who else got something crazy to say that I need to read before I say anything? You got to understand, guys, a lot of those builders talk. A lot of those guys, the dyno guys, they all talk, you know. So it's not like, you know, I wouldn't believe that one saying one thing and, you know, and trying to get in the middle of something that, you know, 2 guys have going on. That's not the right way to do it. If you feel like you've been done wrong or something like that, just keep it right there. That's the only person you need to talk to, and let it be. Yeah, but you know, nothing's perfect. But what I do know, and I don't think he'd be mad if I shared this information, and I'm gonna tell you how I know, and it's because he told me himself. He took a couple of trips to Georgia. We went to King of the South. He rode that bike to Georgia. I'm super impressed. At that point, I didn't know much about how reliable these bikes were. You got a big motor and you riding it 9 hours, 10 hours straight. Listen, it's not a one. He didn't have a 135. I'm not telling your business, man. I mean, they already said it. But if that's the case, you got yourself something reliable. You have to. Shit, you could ride a sport bike 10 hours and expect it to get there. You ain't gonna be comfortable, but you know you can do it. But you know, out there riding big motorbikes, I'm telling you, these big motorbikes are where it's at still. All right. I didn't know shit about Harley until I started watching Mac channel. I appreciate that, brother. Most people, when they get to my channel, didn't know Harleys were fast like they are. Remember, we all still got that 25-year-old kid inside of us, and we don't want to go 70 miles an hour with grandpa and all this shit. We like carbon fiber. we like dumping the throttle and scaring the shit out of ourselves. That's what it is. That's what it is. I got 2 minutes. I'm out of here at 10, guys. Get it in now. I'm gonna answer your question. I gotta go to work in the morning. But yeah, we see where we are with it. True 135 here. If somebody wants smoke with me, I guess I gotta give it to them. But I really don't want smoke with this bike because this is not my race bike. If you bring a race bike, you're gonna catch race bike problems because you ain't running this one. You're gonna have to run my race bike. Anybody who's going to Daytona, make sure you follow me on Instagram, so you can know, everything, where we'll be at. Hey, Jeremy, you ain't wrong for asking the hard questions, man. This is where we at. We are here together. I will answer as much as I can, and on the knowledge that I have and what I know. But what I don't do, as everybody knows, I'm not the guy that bashes anybody. It's not my place for that. I've been known as the bully ever since I said I'm the fastest YouTuber. I don't care. But so I try to monitor some of that stuff, but I still believe I'm the fastest YouTuber out there. I watch people try to copy my videos and they just don't get it right. I've seen people make test hits on their bikes, and I'm not this. You guys are probably not even thinking about the person I'm talking about, but I'm like, you thought that bike could beat mine? No, sir. No, sir. It's not gonna happen. What do you say? Drop the checker flag, man, on Instagram. Drop the checker flag in this thing. And one more time, I appreciate you guys for watching, joining, subscribing. Help me grow this channel to 50K this year. I really need that. Real quick, I will be riding some of the new Harleys this year in Daytona. Anything you want to see, any of those bikes you want to see, you know, let me know, and I might try to get my hands on one. I got one specific that you guys are gonna be like, why are you riding that? But I'm gonna do it anyway because I don't even know why I like it. But I'm not gonna tell you yet. I don't want to spoil it. Any questions you guys got, hit me up. Bipolar, guys, don't forget, I'm going to be dropping the link. So once this live has ended, I will drop the link for tickets for Bipolar. I'm telling you, a full, complete bike. Somebody asked me earlier, is that bike as fast as this bike? Like, which one is faster? Bipolar will stretch the legs on this bike. It won't even really be close. It is what it is. But if you want a bike like that, you want to get your hand on a bike, it's the OG of the channel, but still ahead of the game. Get your tickets, guys. So appreciate it, guys. Peace.